Welcome back to another episode of Talking Shop, and in this episode we're going to be talking about when you don't know what good looks like, how can you expect your team to deliver good quality work? Rach, explain.
I think this one's really important for any auto repair shop owner that is either putting in their first team member, whether that be out on the floor with them or at the service desk. And in a growing business that's really fast paced every single day, sometimes it's difficult to slow down and have the recognition, particularly at the service desk, that if you don't know or understand the role and what drives its success, it'll be almost impossible for anyone that you put into that role to achieve success. And you'll be unsatisfied constantly, that you can see that the business is missing the mark, and that can be through profit or through dissatisfied customers or through workflow. So don't abdicate understanding the nuances of the role. And let's just talk about service advisors, because while you're the owner and you know the business has to be able to sell in order for invoices to be where they need to be, average repair order wise, you're doing it because you're the business owner and it's part of the job and you know it's got to get done. It doesn't mean that you understand the 3 service advisor KPIs. It doesn't mean that you understand all of the nuances around sales psychology, tone of voice required, even the importance of saying somebody's name back to them when you're taking their booking, all of those little things. You've learned that by osmosis over your time in the trade and owning your business. And particularly if you're training someone from scratch, these things aren't easily explained. So where there's training available, and obviously in the case of service advisors, there is, the Workshop Whisperer has the industry-leading online service advisor training. Don't abdicate doing that training yourself only to your team member, because you and your team member will never be on the same page. You won't be speaking the same language, and your expectation of them is never going to marry up to their actual performance if you don't adequately understand the role.
And it's a lot like the blind leading the blind. If you've got someone working in a service advisor new role, I guess the greatest example, if you've got to go to a new destination and the person who you've put in charge to drive the vehicle hasn't studied the map, and nor have you, then you're going to spend a lot of time working out how to get where you want to go. So if there are trainings, manuals, processes that you want your team to read and know and understand, you got to make sure that you know them, read them and understand them as well, so that you're each working from the same playbook.
That's exactly right. And this goes for an apprentice as well. We've obviously got a skill shortage in the industry for skilled qualified technicians. And if we want that to change ever, we have to be willing to apprentice young people, and even having the SOPs, the process documentation, so that if you haven't been on the floor for a while, for instance, because you've got a few team members, so that you know how your apprentice is going to be trained on the floor, and it is so much more clear to the apprentice what their expectations are as well. So you taking your people through a process that you actually know intimately is super important for the success of your business.
So to bring it home, to round it out, you need to know, as the owner of your auto repair business, what good looks like across every role, so you can clearly communicate that, clearly share that with every team member in those roles, so you're all working from the same playbook, and you as the owner end up less frustrated and more excited by the quality of team that you've got around you.
And for the service advisor training that we've been talking about, if you haven't seen it yet, the link to it is in the description for this video. So you can jump on, you don't have to leave the workshop or your office, and neither does your team member.
And with that, we'll see you for the next episode of Talking Shop.